to the students. Today we are going to discuss the classification of anti-anginal drugs. So basically we'll discuss some nitrates, some beta blockers, some calcium channel blockers, some potassium channel openers, antiplatelet drugs and anti-epidemic drugs also. So these are basic classification of anti-anginal drugs. In the last lecture we have discussed what are anti-anginal drugs. So anti-anginal drugs basically are the drugs which are curing the angina pectoris, or which are creating the balance. Actually these are the managers of balancing the oxygen demand in the individual and the oxygen supply from the environment. So a kind of imbalance or can be cured by these drugs. So basically we are going to discuss the nitrates, beta blockers and others. So first of all, we'll discuss about the classification of anti-anginal drugs, in which we are discussing about the nitrates. Nitrates and the beta blockers. Nitrates are two types. Ones are short acting and others are the long acting. Short acting nitrates are working in a very short span of time and can be cured very fast. Long acting are for the long term issues, and short acting nitrates are for minor or the very acute level anginal pectoris issues can be cured by the short acting. Long acting taking time. This can be acting sublingually, or we'll discuss this the synthesis of these glyceryl trinitrate and GTN and the nitroglycerin, and some others we'll discuss. Another we'll discuss about the beta blockers. Beta blockers are the another class of anti-anginal drugs, in which we'll discuss about the propranolol, metoprolol and atenolol and others. Okay, beta blockers are not in the syllabus of third year, so we basically discuss about the nitrates, okay, and the calcium channel blockers. Calcium channel blockers are the blockers which stop the migration of calcium ion in the vessels. Okay, on place of that, oxygen ions can move with the blood flow. Potassium channel openers or the other, these we'll discuss. So clinical classification, we can say that used to abort or the terminate attack. Clinically, some classification we get that the drugs which can terminate the attack, which can easily solve out the problem of angina pectoris. This clinical classification. Use of the chronic or the other issues can be cured by this. Nitrates, first of all we will discuss about the nitrates or the organic nitrates. So few organic nitrates, amyl nitrate and the other drugs are useful to cure the angina issues. So first of all, this is preload reduction, peripheral pooling of blood, what they are doing, how they are working actually. Decrease the venous return, preload reduction, and the afterload. Nitrates also produce the arteriolar dilation, slightly decrease total peripheral resistance and afterload on heart. So these can be work as vasodilators. All the nitrates and the calcium channel blockers are the vasodilators. Comes under the head of vasodilators. Vasodilators are the drugs which can dilate the vessels, blood vessels, so that it can broaden the length or the breadth of vessels, blood vessel, arteries or the veins, so that blood can flow easily. Blood can flow easily, and with the blood, oxygen can flow in the body. So this is the way of all the vasodilators. Either we are talking about the nitrates or we are talking about the vasodilators. So these are three steps: preload reduction, afterload reduction, or redistribution of coronary fold. In the arterial trees, nitrates preferentially relax bigger conducting coronary artery than the arterioles and the resistance vessels. So these are the three steps in which they are working, and all the nitrates are working as vasodilators. They are just dilating the vessels in multiple steps or the 2 or 3 steps they are working. Their mechanism of action, I already told that organic nitrate agents are the prodrugs that are the source of NO. What they are doing actually, nitrous oxide NO activates the soluble isoform of guanylyl cyclase, thereby increasing intracellular level of CGMP. In terms of CGMP, promote the desphosphorylation of myosin light chain and the reduction of cytosolic calcium ions, and leads to the relaxation of smooth muscles. cells in the broad range of tissues. So somehow we can say organic nitrates, either amyl nitrate. Amyl nitrate, it's either the 5-membered carbon ring, either in cyclic or the not cyclic, that's a branched or the straight chain with a nitro. It convert somehow into the nitrous oxide NO, which creating some enzymatic action in the body, and somehow they are reducing the migration of calcium ion, which can create vasodilation, and in this way they are dilating the vessels. So this is the basic mechanism of action. Now, when we are talking about the mechanism of vascular smooth muscle relaxants action of nitrodilators like glyceryl, trinitrate, or the calcium channel blockers, this is the actually function. And the pictorial view, you can see how they are blocking the calcium channel. So somehow they are stopping the migration of calcium ions. All the calcium channel blockers are blocking the migration of calcium ions so that oxygen ions can be migrated, because when calcium ions are migrating, they are creating some stiffness in the vessels. When this migration stop, it is providing the space, and they are the muscles and you can see the veins or the arteries are quite flexible, quite dilates. So in this way they are working as vasodilators. Now come up on the pharmacokinetics of the all the organic nitrates are lipid soluble, well absorbed from buccal mucosa, intestine and the skin. So you can say that organic nitrates are lipid soluble, lipophilic. They can be dissolved in lipids. Ingested orally, all except isosorbide mononitrate undergoes extensive and the variable first pass metabolism in the liver. I think this is no need to explain about the first pass. First pass metabolism means the drug is metabolized in liver. They are rapidly denitrated by the glutathione reductase and some mitochondrial aldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme. So some enzymatic activities is going on when this organic nitrates are providing to a patient either orally or sublingually or in any other way. These are lipid soluble, so it can be merged in the lipids, and somehow they are creating some first pass metabolism in the liver, and some enzymes are converting them this amyl nitrates or some other nitrates into NO. That NO is responsible for some other enzymatic reaction in the body. Sublingual, this is the time durations, you can see the comparative tenure with the way of drug providing, drug administration you can say. So this is for nitroglycerin, another for isosorbide mononitrate, another is isosorbide dinitrate. So when we are providing sublingually, it going 2 to 25 minutes, minimum in 2 minutes and a maximum in 25 minutes it take. Oral, or when we are providing oral or sustained release, it will take 35 minutes and maximum 4 to 8 hours it will remain. Transdermal, when intradermally we are providing, then it takes 30 minutes and it remain 10 to 12 hours, broke down or metabolize. Oral extended release for the isosorbide binitrate, this is take 30 minutes minimum time and 12 to 24 hours it remain in the body, and after that it is eliminated. Sublingually it is 5 minutes and start working and a maximum 1 hour it's remain. Oral slow release, you can say this is orally when we are providing 30 minutes and maximum 8 hours it remain. So these are the actually the way of administrations. If we are providing in the drugs, we are providing in which way actually determine the efficiency of the drug. The drug will remain same, but if we are providing sublingually, intravenously, or the orally, or the transdermally, or in any other way, the efficiency or the time will reduce. So as you can see, adverse effect. So nitrates having a very common side effect, which is headache, general creating headache. So an headache can be created when we are consuming these drugs. High doses of nitrates can be also cause postural hypotension and facial flushing and tachycardia and some other issues. but it is very simple, you can say the very minor or the acute level side effects. Phosphodiester's type 5 inhibitors such as uh, cylindrophil and potentiate the action of nitrates. So, to precludes the dangerous hypotension that may occur, this combination is contraindicted. So, any kind of addiction can be created with this. Nitrates and the organic nitrates are tolerant and the dependent. These are tolerance of the action of nitrate develop rapidly as the blood vessel become desensitized to vasodilation. Tolerance can be overcome by the providing a daily nitrate-free interval to restore sensitivity of the drug. So this is a tolerance. How much a drug is tolerant, how much a nitrate or the organic nitrate drug is tolerant for the body. It's dependence. Sudden withdrawal after the prolonged exposure has resulted in spasm of coronary and the peripheral blood vessels. So when we are withdrawing this drug, we should withdraw gradually, not all of a sudden we can withdraw this drug. If we are withdrawing gradually, it will easy for a patient. If we are suddenly withdrawing the drug, it will create a problem. Uses: we can cure the angina pectoris, acute coronary syndrome or myocardial infarction can be cured with this. So it produces relief within 3 minutes in 75% patient. It may stress may require another dose to take longer, up to 9 minutes. So angina pectoris can be quickly resolved, or you can say quickly cure with this nitrates and the organic nitrates. Acute coronary syndrome can also be cured by this. Nitrates are useful by the decreasing preload as well as by the increasing coronary flow. Myocardial infections, we can say that GTN is frequently used to during involving MI with an aim of relieving chest pain or pulmonary congestion or a limiting area of necrosis by favorably altering O2 balance in the marginal partial ischemic zone. Nitrates, these are also some uses of nitrates. We can use them CHF in the acute LBF, biliary colic, esophageal strabism, cyanide poisoning, which is high affinity to cyanide radical and form. Now we come on the beta blockers. The beta blocker, adrenergic blocker, decrease the oxygen demand of the myocardium by blocking B1 receptors, beta 1 receptors. So somehow calcium channel blockers are blocking the calcium ion migration. Now here beta blockers are actually blocking the beta 1 receptors, resulting the decrease the heart rate, contractility, cardiac output and the blood pressure. All the beta blockers are nearly equal effective in decreasing frequency and the severity of the attack, in increasing exercise tolerance in classical angina, but cardioselective agents, atenolol, metoprolol and preferred over non-selective beta 1 and beta 2 blockers. Agents and the intrinsic symptomatic activity such as pindolol should be avoided in the patient with angina and those have had a MI. So beta blockers actually blocking the beta migration, beta and migrations. Calcium channel blockers. Calcium channel blockers are the three types: long lasting, transient and neuronal. So first of all, we can see that these are activation thresholds will be high, or in the transient it is current, it is low, and in neuronal it is medium. So these are three types of calcium channel blockers which can be used. So nifedipine, dilantin, verapamil, that all are come in the long lasting, and this is few other drugs are in the different classes. So location and function, they are the different, they are working calcium channel ions actually blocking the migration of calcium ions in the calcium channel, so that some stiffness can be reduced and dilations can be created in the vessels and blood can easily flow. These are reducing blood pressure in the body and promoting the oxygen flow in the blood, and by this way they are balancing the oxygen demand in the body. Calcium channel blockers are, these are the few drugs which are working as calcium channel blockers, and these are famous drugs. Their synthesis and other things are also in the syllabus. Uh, how these calcium channel pharmacological action, you can say like where these calcium channels are working efficiently. So on the smooth muscles these are working. What they are doing actually, they are just providing vasodilation action. They are just having vasodilator action. So they are somehow relaxing, or you can say they are dilating the blood vessels. Some heart calcium influx increase in the ischemia because of the membrane depolarization of hypoproducers. The calcium channel blockers protect the tissue by inhibiting the entrance of calcium ion into the cardiac and the smooth muscle cells of the coronary and the systemic arterial bed, and decrease the smooth muscle tone and vascular resistance after load. So they are uh, interacting with the cardiac muscles also. Smooth muscles and the cardiac muscles are also smooth muscles, so they are interacting there also. They are inhibiting the entrance of calcium ion. So that is the basic work of calcium channel blockers, and they are depolarizing the membranes and brain hypoxia produces. Phenylalkylamine verapamil, it is a drug. It dilates the arteriole and decreases total peripheral resistance. It slows the arterioventricular conduction directly and decrease the heart rate, contractility, blood pressure and oxygen demand. So this, in this way they are working. It also has some alpha adrenergic blocking activity. Verapamil has greater negative and inotropic effect than amlodipine, but it is weaker vasodilators. It is weak in vasodilation effect. Verapamil should not be given with the beta blockers or some cardiac depressant like quinidine and the dispermidine also. Benzothiophene. So this drug we can use BTD. Also slow AV conduction, arterioventricular conduction, decrease the rate of firing of the sinus node pacemaker, and it is also coronary artery vasodilators. Diltiazem can relieve coronary artery spasm. It is particularly useful in the patients with variant angina. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the current angina, variant angina, and the other things. That these terms we have already discussed. It is somewhat less potent vasodilators than the nifedipine and the verapamil. It has a modest direct negative inotropic action, but direct depression of SA nodes and AV conduction and equivalent of the verapamil. So, what I'm trying to speak that this is another range of calcium channel blockers which working in the different manner, in the different way they are working. So somehow they are interacting with the cardiovascular smooth muscles, and they are dilating, but not in that manner, not in that way, not in that much efficiency. But the other effects are very much helpful and useful, which are able to cure the angina. These are some other drugs which are interacting. So when we are talking about the dihydropyridine, DPH, DHP, calcium channel blocker, or we are talking about the nifedipine. Nifedipine is the prototype of DPH, which is rapid onset and a short duration of the action. It is short acting drug. It causes arterial dilation and that decrease the total peripheral resistance. Nifedipine usually administered as an extended release oral formulation. It causes direct depressant action on the direct heart in the higher dose. Frequent side effects are palpitation, flushing, ankle edema, hypotension, headache, drowsiness, and nausea. If nifedipine has paradoxically increase in the frequency of angina in some patients. So this is the adverse effects, frequent adverse effect which can be generated. These are some other calcium channel blockers, their bioavailability, their other activeness, and their elimination time, T half period. Uses calcium channel blockers can safely given to the patients by the obstructing lung disease and peripheral vascular disease in whom beta blockers are contradicted. CCB used for the treatment of angina pectoris, hypertension, cardiac arrhythmias, and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. These are the potassium channel openers. Potassium channel openers are actually the class of anti-anginal drugs which having sensitization or sensitive for the potassium channel. Okay, so anti-anginal action of the nicorandil is mediated through ATP sensitive K plus or the potassium channel. Thereby it is hyperpolarizing vascular smooth muscles. Nicorandil is well absorbed orally, nearly completely metabolized in the liver, so it is also first class and it is excreted in urine, administered. That is during angioplasty for acute MI, it is believed to improve outcomes. Adverse effects, flushing, palpitation, weakness, headache, dizziness, nausea or vomiting. These are some common. These are some other anti-anginal drugs, diprimidol, uh, and this is some other drugs which are having some specific uh, effects. These are few other anti-anginal drugs. This is the distribution of CVD death in the males. So cardiovascular disease, right, this is an inflammatory heart disease, it's 11%, 2% heart disease, that's cerebrovascular. This is actually a kind of, you can say the distribution of CVD death in the males, CVD death in the females. Thank you. In the next lecture, we will discuss some more synthesis of the drugs which are responsible to cure the anti-anginal, angina pectoris, which are responsible to cure angina pectoris. Thank you everyone.